I've been cutting wood and making a mess. So stay tuned and all will be revealed. Well, good afternoon everyone and welcome back to Piccadilly Model Railways. So this is the start of the new build. So I've gone ahead and packed away all the trains, as you can see there, and I've started to remove the track. Now this scenic board has been disconnected and the wiring that is not immediately connected to this board has then been removed. So all the track wiring is still there. That won't be removed if somebody wants to buy it. But that statement in its own right has probably indicated at the moment, it's Tuesday now, nobody has yet come forward to say if they want it. Now, I've had other people suggest that I should just use it, and that's absolutely fine. Well, what a transformation that is. So all the track and wiring underneath has been removed from all of that, and I've even removed the connector blocks and all that sort of stuff from underneath that. Now you might say to me, well, I am going to use that again, and yes I am, but I think it would be easier to start from scratch and then I can rebuild new conventions, if you like. All the wires are still there, all the droppers are still there. You can see those, and I've literally just pulled them out. So there's another, well, there's one more over there, but you can see it won't be difficult to rewire, and if I need to put some new ones on, then I can. But yeah, I'm now ready to move the settee, and both of these end boards are disconnected, so it's just a case of putting everything in the new positions. The one thing I do need to work out is how much space I'm going to need to effectively create a third and fourth radius, effectively a circle. So I'm guessing that that's going to come to about there. This will then shift along about that. So I think when the settee's in place, that length of track there probably won't be a lot different. But until it's in the new positions, it's really hard to work that out. So anyway, I will catch you shortly. Welcome back. Now you might be thinking, what are you doing with track when you've barely got you haven't even got any structures made, let alone do anything else? Well, the reason being is because I need to know the exact diameter of the track, the fourth radius track, so I know what to build the units to. So on Pico's website, it advertises that each piece is going to be to a radius of 571.5 millimeters. And so therefore that works out at a diameter, because two radiuses make a diameter. Radius to the center, diameter to the full width across the middle. 1143 millimeters, as you can see. But as I've just discovered, that is to the center of the track, not to the outside edge. So basically, by putting it out like that, I can now see that this diameter is now, as you can see there, 1170 millimeters diameter. So the boards that I've got to get to cut, I've got to be at least 20 mil beyond that, and then if need be I can add to it as I need to. So obviously there's going to be a third radius come inside here. I've got that traverser there. Now one of the reasons that traverser didn't work is because I was trying to connect it up at both ends, and to do that it was near impossible because it was never lining up at both ends at the same time. But if I'm only operating it from one end, it's perfect, and I would highly recommend a traverser if you're tight on space. So what I'm proposing then is I take this traverser, I'm going to take it down and take it down here. So it actually goes underneath that board. I've checked out the distance from the length of that, and compared to the edge of the settee to, well, effectively the wall underneath, so it goes underneath that board, it should be able to operate there. I can take this board further to the wall, and need be alter the legs if need be. So there's plenty of space. It should, in theory, work. That's my initial thoughts. I've got to get there first, so things could all change. Let's crack on. Welcome back to the chaos. So, as you can see here, this is one of the two end boards been reconfigured slightly. I've got these 3 struts going across, which will then support beams there, and there will be some boards which will be that stuff just there, ready. But otherwise, it's living in a complete nightmare. There's the other board over there, so you can see that is the same as the other one, but I've left the top on, and these rails will be going onto the other board, ready to support the board as it curves around like that. There'll probably be more of a strip as opposed to a full board. And this was the traverser. There it is, just there. As I said, it's going to go sort of very low down and in there. So these legs on the traverser are obviously far too high. So I'm going to remove those legs in readiness to cut down. I don't know how big they're going to be at the moment. Obviously the other one just there. So I'm just dismantling the whole thing. Voila. Once I know that measurement, then I can start putting it back together. At this moment in time, I don't know whether that's going to be part of the holiday. I'd like to think I can get that far, but who knows? We'll just have to see. The priority is to get trains running on the basic dog bone, and we'll take it from there. After that, anything's a bonus. Catch you later. Welcome back. So as you can see now, I've got the main 3 sections in and a little bit more advanced, let's put it like that. Now if I lift that, you can see that is still an open frame, and that is the general idea. Now hopefully you can get an idea of how big that circle is going to be, and this here, these 2 lines here indicate where the 4th radius will be. So there will be a little bit of wood going on there, and there will be some plywood coming around to make that arc around there. But the 3 separate units are in. That's a separate unit. I've just finished building that from scratch, and the other 2 tables were as they were always. Okay, obviously with the additions. So I have modified them quite a lot, and I probably will modify them quite a lot more. But yeah, I'm really pleased with the way this is going. So there we go. That's about as much as I'm going to do for this video. And you'll probably realise that the layout did not sell, and that's absolutely fine. When I mentioned it last week, I did suggest that it could either be a use it or salvage it. In other words, take bits off it. It's actually going to be a mix between the 2, and I'll explain that a bit more in the next video. But just to take you back down to the other end, you can see now the boards are prepared, ready to not fit the track obviously, but there's still a bit way to go, but you can get the idea of how the track is going to be working at both ends of the layout. So there's obviously a big circle down there as well. But I do need your help with something, to be honest, because this bit has been say bugging me, and I'm struggling with it, and that's the name for the layout. You'll probably realise that when I introduce the N gauge layout, I say welcome back to Piccadilly. And that's the name of that layout. And it would be nice to say, welcome to Piccadilly something. I don't want to lose that Piccadilly because that's part of my identity. So anything with Piccadilly and then another word after it. I've had Piccadilly Parkway going through my head, but that doesn't quite sit with me. Now, this is going East Coast main line this time. So the main line coming out of London King's Cross, going up through Peterborough and Doncaster, York. So It is going to be very loose and more made up than anything else. But I went to Peterborough for a reason. The idea was to find out what trains went in there. And that was also part of the reason for buying the greater angular flirts. And I would like to buy maybe another one or two, along with maybe a couple of LNER Zoomers. But we'll see how things go. And there is another locomotive which I haven't introduced to you yet, which I'll tell you about maybe in a few weeks. We'll see. Everything else that I've got, including the APT, the 47s, the 37s, the 66s, all of that's going to stay. I'm not getting rid of anything per se. So it will be a bit of a mishmash. There will still be steam running on here, even from the little Terriers right through to the Hush Hush, and maybe some others as well. So I'm not getting rid of anything remotely like that. Now, to give you an idea, the main line is obviously going to be here, and there is going to be an upper level which comes across kind of like that, and then round, and then loop back up by the side of the original line and keep going around like that. So effectively, it's a dog bone of its own right. How that's going to work out at the moment, I don't know. But that's where the flirt is going to run, and maybe the steams as well, that type of thing. I don't know per se at the moment. But if you've got any ideas of what I can call this layout, it would be gratefully appreciated. So any ideas, please put them in the comments and we can take them from there. And yeah. All right. Anyway, I'm going to leave the video there and hope you've enjoyed it, seeing how this has gone from, well, the original roundy loop to something which actually is quite a bit bigger, but a lot more compact, as you can see from there. All right, anyway, you take care of yourself, and I'll see you again very soon here. And at the moment, I'm calling it Piccadilly Model Railways. Take care now. Bye-bye. And there we go, it's off. It is nice to see that the Mark IV set has sort of gone back to this almost intercity livery. Obviously, the windows are a slightly different colour. Nice nevertheless. I'll do that and then might just see. Oh, it sounds like the 91's coming now. There it is. 101. Surprise, wasn't it? First train I've been here since, or first train I've seen since I've come. Oh, flirt and class 700. Uh-huh. $170, I think, cross country. As you've probably seen, I've come down the end of the platform now. That 700 was sitting there. I think it's going to be there for a little while, not sure. But there's also something coming in now as class 800 leaving, and also one coming in. I've not seen those in the flesh before. Another one coming. Oh, and the flirt is leaving as well, and it's been photobombed yet again. You can't make it up, can you? So that's the same flirt as came in. That was photobombed by the 700 and now has been photobombed by an 800. And there you go, you can see it in the far distance over there, sort of disappearing.